Hello, welcome to Rise and Bust. In today's episode, we will see another rise and bust story. We will analyze how it rose to glitter success, and then we will understand the mistakes that led to its downfall. And just to let you know, we post well-analyzed and real rise and fall stories. Stories of companies and people that once ruled the world, but then busted for small mistakes or series of mistakes. If you are interested in similar stories, then do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Now relax and enjoy the story and let us know in the comments what you learned today.
You surely remember the days when Motorola phones were popular. The Motorola brand is well known worldwide. And even though you no longer see family members or friends using these phones, it doesn't alter the reality that the company had a significant impact. American global telecommunications firm Motorola Incorporated has its headquarters in Schaumburg, Illinois. The corporation was divided into two public companies, Motorola Solutions and Motorola Mobility, on January 4, 2011, following a $4.3 billion loss from 2007 to 2009. Since Motorola Mobility was spun out as part of the reorganization, Motorola Solutions is the official successor to Motorola Incorporated. Lenovo purchased Motorola Mobility in 2014. Motorola manufactured and commercialized mobile transmission communication systems and signal boosters are two examples of wireless network equipment. Digital video recorders, set-top boxes, and network equipment that supported high-definition television, computer telephony, and video broadcasting were among Motorola's products for the home and broadcast networks. Wireless voice and broadband services and public security communications systems such as Astro and Dimetra made up most of its commercial and government customers. These companies currently fall under Motorola Solutions. In December 2012, Google sold Motorola Home to the Aris Group for $2.35 billion. But what occurred to this business that once produced excellent phones? They indeed suffered significant financial losses, but not everyone knows the details of their difficulties. Chapter 1. The Rise of Motorola. In 1928, Galvin Manufacturing Corporation, located at 847 West Harrison Street in Chicago, Illinois, was the precursor to Motorola. Paul Galvin needed a name for the new vehicle radio that Galvin Manufacturing Corporation was producing, so he combined the words motor and Ola, which at the time was also a common way to finish a company name. See also Moviola and Crayola. The result was the name Motorola. On June 23, 1930, the business paid $30 to Fort Wayne, Indiana, resident H.C. Wall for the initial Motorola-branded radio. Galvin Manufacturing Corporation was eventually renamed Motorola Incorporated due to the success of the Motorola brand. In November 1930, Galvin Manufacturing Corporation started offering Motorola car radio devices to law enforcement agencies and local governments. From the initial handheld walkie-talkie throughout the world in 1940 to a battery eliminator for radios, several of Motorola's products have appeared in the radio industry. Motorola became Motorola Incorporated around 1947 after going public in 1943. At the time, manufacturing and marketing televisions and radios were Motorola's main line of business. On a Motorola transceiver, Neil Armstrong famously spoke, "One little step for a human, one big leap for mankind," in 1969 when speaking from the moon. Motorola presented the first handheld mobile phone in 1973. The Motorola 8-bit MC6800 microprocessor, utilized in computer, gaming, and automotive applications, was initially launched in 1974. Motorola sold its television division to Matsushita, the parent group of Panasonic, which has its headquarters in Japan, in the same year. The MC68000, a 32-bit Motorola microprocessor of the following generation, was at the forefront of the wave of innovations in 1980 that sparked the computing revolution in 1984, supplying energy to products made by firms including Atari, Commodore, Apple, Hewlett-Packard, and Sun. The Motorola StarMax, an Apple-licensed Macintosh clone that Motorola produced in 1996, featured System 7. However, once Steve Jobs returned to Apple in 1997, the company made Mac OS 8. Nokia surpassed Motorola as the top seller of cell phones globally in 1998. Motorola and Cisco provided BT Cellnet throughout the United Kingdom with the first commercialized GPRS cellular network in June 2000. Motorola also produced the first GPRS mobile phone in the world. With recent purchases, Motorola achieved its peak global employment in August 2000 with 150,000 employees. Due to reductions and spin-offs, the career would reach 93,000 2 years later. Motorola acquired Sendo's intellectual property in June 2005 for $30,000 and spent £362,575 for the facility, equipment, and machinery. Motorola purchased the software platform, Ajar, created by the British business TTP Communications Ltd in June 2006. Later in 2006, the company unveiled iRadio, a music subscription service. The technology emerged following a rift in collaboration with Apple Computer. iRadio offers live streaming of music content without commercials, which sets it apart from other satellite radio providers, like Sirius and XM Radio. However, unlike satellite services, iRadio programming will be downloaded using a broadband internet connection. iRadio has not been commercially launched since 2008, and no more details are available. On August 15, 2011, Google stated that it would pay approximately $12.5 billion to acquire Motorola Mobility. Motorola Mobility stockholders overwhelmingly approved the planned merger between Motorola Mobility and Google Incorporated on November 17, 2011. On May 22, 2012, Google announced that it had successfully acquired Motorola Mobility Holdings, Incorporated, MMI, for $40 for every share in cash. $12.5 billion. Google sold Motorola Mobility to Lenovo on October 30, 2014. Approximately $2.91 billion was paid for the purchase, subject to revisions, with $1.41 billion spent at closing, $660 million liquid cash, as well as $750 million in common shares of Lenovo. A 3-year note of hand was used to pay the final sum of $1.5 billion. After the acquisition, Google continued to be the sole owner of most of Motorola Mobility's patents, including recent innovation disclosures and patent applications. In contrast, Lenovo was granted access to the patent and another intellectual property portfolio. In addition, Lenovo obtained the Motorola Mobility brand and trademark portfolio and more than 2,000 intellectual assets. Chapter 2. The Fall of Motorola. The reasons underlying Motorola's unpopularity are several. Although they were formerly widely available, individuals now hardly purchase these phones. Motorola was slow to adopt 3G. Yes, it did, but remember that its main clients, the American carriers, didn't believe they needed 3G. Therefore, Motorola should have listened to its customers instead of its customers' consumers. In the fast-paced Silicon Valley industry, Motorola was a staid Midwest business. There may be some validity to this. The Razr was an exception and a raging success. Running a fashion line inside an industrial company is challenging. Today, Nokia is expanding into graphics-rich mobile games, while Motorola is innovating by releasing Razr light retreads in ghastly colors, understanding design, unlike Motorola. Only Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots, has more style than Motorola. Motorola exited the right industry at the incorrect time. Previously, Motorola possessed a large spectrum, which it exchanged for Nextel stock. Consequently, it begins each year with no sales even though companies control intellectual property worth billions. They have millions of clients who will give them $500 annually. Years ago, Motorola had the opportunity to purchase Qualcom or Nokia, only $20 million. Simply put, Motorola was out of time. Every unsuccessful coach in history has said that. Running out of time wasn't the issue, perhaps the management needed to improve. Xander, a computer specialist who had to understand the business, was present, but that gap could have been filled. Motorola ceased to innovate. It lost the advantage of the high ground by being late. It ought to have sprung on Palm. Additionally, the senior management of Motorola has yet to sell an item to a customer. Motorola did not expand. In the past, dissatisfied shareholders would simply sell their shares. Motorola is currently undergoing gyrations, making it more straightforward for its rivals. Motorola is an informal alliance of rival tribes. Motorola never felt the need to act quickly. It missed the 3G movement. Most smartphone makers had the wisdom to consider 3G and did so early enough to dominate the industry. Motorola, however, either didn't act similarly or misbehaved. Most of Motorola's customers were American wireless operators who did not see the need for 3G. But this was an error that had severe consequences for the business. Chapter 3. What you can learn from the rise and fall of Motorola. We can learn a lot from this business in some different ways. All business owners must first take innovation into account. Otherwise, the company will need help when customers' needs alter. Businesses will ultimately only succeed if customers are interested in their goods or services. Motorola did not innovate. Second, when developing new items, you must move quickly. If you don't try to enter the market first, other businesses will eventually overtake you. If you want to succeed, you should also be sure to expand your impact globally rather than concentrating on a specific market. Motorola's impact was partly constrained because it was overly centered on the United States. It might have lasted longer if it had a more prominent global influence. Numerous errors Motorola committed contributed to its collapse. Not only did it not produce Android-based phones quickly enough or add 3G, but it also chose the wrong individuals to follow. Additionally, it could have made an impression on a larger audience. If it had operated differently, perhaps Motorola phones would still be in use today. People no longer utilize Motorola and are instead using other brands. The only positive aspect of Motorola's story is that it teaches business owners some essential lessons. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. You can also visit our website riseandbust.com for more videos and stories like this.